Hi everyone.
And
Hello out
welcome
there.
to the QuaranStream.
Yes.
I'm Bri.
And I am Glenn.
And we're coming at you live on this Wednesday evening. We're going to start pitching the future of musicals. You know, we've done musicals that we've been in, that we remember. We've done musicals that are kind of the current state of the industry, so like movie musicals or jukebox musicals. And now we're like, okay, well, what's the next step? You know, we've had books, we've had, you know, movies. So there's a lot of things that musicals have relied on for inspiration, and so we thought, well, what would come next? And we think YouTube might be kind of the next big marketable part for a potential musical. Yes. So welcome everybody, and we look forward to talking with you about it.
And everybody is checked in. All our regulars are here. Hi everyone. We love to see you.
And we're real happy to say we got our prize packages out. So we sent them by priority mail. We're trying to keep the U.S. Postal Service alive just on our own dime. So hopefully you should get those in 2 to 3 days. They include a piece of merchandise. I am not wearing our merchandise tonight, but I am wearing a fundraising t-shirt from the hashtag Roanoke Strong, done by King Screen. I think they had something like 50 businesses in the Southwest Virginia area that for every $20 shirt you buy, $10 goes to the business itself. This is, I don't know if you can see on the screen, but it says Showtimers. It's a community theater that I worked with. Like, I was really fortunate because everybody drove me out to, to Roanoke from Blacksburg, which is about a 45-minute drive. And would make sure that I could be there to assist. I did a lot of stage crew stuff. I didn't really do much of the acting on stage or stuff like that because that's when I wasn't really feeling well. But they're a great group, great small theater. Really happy to kind of support them in this way. I feel like whenever something comes out, I just always say, like, I am definitely the shopping type of supporter. You know, I've been fairly lucky up until this point that I've had some extra cash to stimulate the economy from the stimulus check and from like some money that we've been saving up for moving and a paycheck. So I've my whole intention, hi Lola, was to buy shirts for different causes and stuff like that each week and wear them. However, with all the deliveries being delayed by sometimes 6 weeks, that has not happened. But I still been trying to support as much as I can. Now that we're kind of going into this position where I might be let go from my job, furloughed temporarily. They kind of guaranteed that we could come back. So it's not a future forever thing, and or you know, we might have a loss of income a little bit. They might cut my salary. We don't know. It's supposed to tell us last Friday, and they keep pushing it back because I think they're really trying to help people out. So I've applied to be a contact tracer. I've applied to do standardized patienting like Glenn does on the off chance that we're going to need some extra money since we will be moving tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Well, actually, Glenn will be working. But after Glenn is done working, then we will be moving. And so
and Kelly has just checked in. Hello.
So you will probably see us in this room on Saturday, albeit with nothing in it. Because this is where our internet will be until Monday the 11th.
Monday or so, So next Wednesday, when Bri is presenting her next Broadway musical, next YouTube-based musical, you're going to be seeing our new place for the first time.
It won't look that much different, if I'm being honest, because we need to paint, and we have a lot of boxes to go through, so it's still going to look pretty much like how everything looks here, at least for probably the remainder of quarantine.
But it is going to be nice, and like, you'll see us here, like Bri said, on Saturday. We'll still be here. You may be seeing us without a lot of the things that you're used to seeing when you tune in, like the bed and the chair back there and everything.
But we're going to keep persevering.
Yes, we are.
As we hope you are as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, normally we talk about things that we have seen or things that we've done in the past week since last time we filmed.
Yeah.
I have not done or seen much in the way of theater or entertainment, which is a little sad. I mean, I think everybody kind of had a week off. We went to Disney Plus and we watched DuckTales, so that's fun. Not really theater related or musical theater related.
I mean,
although they did have Musical Theater Pirates, which if that was a career, I would have majored in that.
Yes, she was watching the Musical Theater Pirates episode and saying, I'm feeling like there's a lot of musical theater pirates now, and I wish that they had told me that was a career option because I would have studied that.
I mean, it was just really charming because somebody messed up their dance step and got thrown off the airplane, and I was like, I could see myself doing that.
and as far as musical theater connections go, also recurring voice on the show is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Right.
So,
So, but it's been cute. It's been fun. I wish that we had a little bit more things kind of going on, but I think between the uncertainty of my job and the move and trying to hold everything else together, it's basically just been like, well, we got this show.
Yes. And we have been watching a lot of YouTube, which has been really useful for figuring out what we were going to do. We planned out 4 of these episodes.
Yes.
And when I picked what would be my second pitch, I was like, I want to pencil that in because I'm not 100% sold on that. And then just after the last stream, I was like, no, I know the perfect channel that I'm going to do then. But we'll get to that later because now we're going to talk about...
Yes. Yeah, my very first one.
Yes.
So I love Bon Appetit. They're kind of my favorite channel. I'm sure as a lot of you out there, you also love Bon Appetit. I know that everybody kind of has their favorite person, whether it's like Brad or Molly or Claire or Andy or Chris. But I feel like that's kind of been a big constant comfort for a lot of folks, at least online. I kind of see a lot of people still really excited about watching Bon Appetit, even when they're all cooking from home and having kids and dogs and cats. And I mean, they're chefs. They're just like us. And I'm notoriously like a lazy chef. Like, if it's sweet, it gets cinnamon. If it's, savory, it gets garlic. I like to just kind of like throw caution to the wind and just invent recipes. And so a lot of times, like when there's something a little bit more fiddly, like say macarons or bread, I'm not the best when it comes to like rising yeast or waiting for that little foot to form. And so to see people kind of with that passion and being able to kind of describe scientifically why this works or why you need to take the time or do the step or sift your flour or whatever, I really like that. Because it's just not me.
Now, and if you have not seen Bon Appetit on YouTube, Bon Appetit is the YouTube channel for the magazine, Bon Appetit, for, long-running.
Members in their test kitchen, primarily.
And initially when they started their YouTube channel, it was very much the sort of thing that you would expect, sort of a premium publication like Bon Appetit to have, of like beautiful photography and all these professional chefs talking about like, you're going to want to use these fresh ingredients and everything like that. And then at some point they started using... their test kitchen people.
Yeah, I think they said it's the director of photography, Matt Hunziker, I guess, was hanging out with all the personalities of the test kitchen, and he just kind of let them run wild a bit, especially people like Claire and like Brad, who kind of have these really distinct personalities and are really kind of fun to watch. And then they've developed kind of shows as the channel has progressed.
And the result has been very lighthearted, very funny, very appropriate YouTube paced videos.
Yeah, and I think everybody, like I said, everybody kind of has their favorite. It's almost like adult Sesame Street in a way.
Yes.
Where it's like, just because Grover's my favorite, it doesn't mean I don't also love, Ernie and Bert. But they're all kind of this family. They're all kind of this community. And what they've been doing now is cooking with their kids, cooking with their pets, doing little challenges. Like I think they just did a scavenger hunt show, which was real fun. But I really enjoy watching it. And I particularly like Gourmet Makes, which is a little bit, if you've ever watched Food Network Unwrapped, it's kind of the next step because It's a professional dessert maker, pastry chef, and she tries to create everything from like Doritos to snowballs to she just did tater tots.
Every episode they give her a thing that is a popular snack food or it's a popular frozen food, something like that. They've had her try pizza rolls and things like that and bagel bites.
Well, that's my favorite.
And she has to make it from scratch.
Yep. Looks like we might be frozen, but we're going to keep continuing. So if we're frozen, let us know if you can still hear us, but we're not moving our lips. Or if you're not seeing anything, we would love to know. Please mention in the comments below. But when we upload this to YouTube, it will be just fine.
All right. We can be seen and heard by Jenny. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So when thinking about creating a Bon Appetit musical... I don't think you can really, well, I mean, I guess you could. You could do all the shows and kind of have all their own little moments. Like, I would kind of foresee maybe something like Rent or Falsettos or something like that, where everybody kind of has their own musical theme or whatever. I don't think that's the direction I would want to go in. And in fact, like, I was kind of leaning towards a few different things, and we'll talk about them today, and I would love to know everybody's opinion. So if you're like, man, Bri, that stinks, I have a better idea for a Bon Appetit musical, but like, please write it down below. I'm sure it would be fun, and we'd love to continue that conversation. So, thinking about Cats, because Cats is a wide cast of characters, and all they do is spend the whole time introducing themselves.
Yes.
So you could do type of a Cats type of thing. I don't think that's the way I necessarily want to go. I do kind of want a story, because one of the things that I think is really charming about the Bon Appetit cast is when they work together, and when they solve problems and stuff like that. So my kind of plan was maybe doing a little bit more of like an Agatha Christie type of solve a mystery. And I kind of was thinking of like maybe like a National Treasure type of adventure where cooking is like a major skill to win the prize, right?
Yeah.
Now this is probably influenced by watching like DuckTales and getting treasure and whatever. But I kind of figured that would be kind of cute, because then you could kind of see, like, individual challenges where chefs would shine, and you could kind of have, like, this fun little, like, mystery story with it, which would be fun. I know that there have been cooking shows done on Broadway. I think it was Seared. I'm not necessarily sure of the title, so I'm sorry, Straight Plays, but I think Rala Sparza just won a Lortel Award for it. So I have seen kind of that more traditional where you think of something like Anthony Bourdain or Gordon Ramsay, or kind of a more type of direct cooking show, but involving like their whole life drama. And that's been done on Broadway. So it's not like a question of like, oh, you can't have fire, you can't have cooking, or you can't do that. And then Waitress, I mean, pretty much was cooking pies on stage. You know, the whole titular song was sugar, butter, and flour. Yeah. But I thought it would be fun to maybe do some sort of like a Legends of the Hidden Temple type of chat. Like I said, for me, National Treasure kind of kept coming up, that I thought that like that would where I would really like to see chefs kind of problem solve. And I think it also comes from like Bon Appetit is not just in the test kitchen in many situations. Like now, of course, they're in their own homes, but they've had one of their hosts, Molly, go out to like ostrich farms, or learning how to butcher pigs, or, you know, making pasta. So she kind of goes out on her own things. And Brad does It's Alive, which they've gone
Does a lot of fermentation and things like that.
They picked mushrooms and went to Hawaii to fish. And so, I mean, I think that there's kind of a lot of that type of stuff. And then Alex Delaney does the going all around New York and, like, eating a million pizzas.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for a story there, which is not necessarily a story you see produced a lot on Broadway. That sort of adventure and puzzle solving will be really good, because I was trying to figure out what direction you would be going with this as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this one.
We didn't actually discuss her pitch for this beforehand, and like I was thinking like, what kind of story can you throw in? And of course, Broadway, one of the things that comes to mind is romantic comedy, but that would be really difficult because the thing is you're dealing with real people who are here right now. And they do all have, like, families and significant others and everything. So you wouldn't want to do, like, a romantic storyline between two people and be like, I just decided to put these two people together.
Yeah.
It's not the same as shipping two characters out of Harry Potter or something.
Yeah.
Or being like, I always thought Spock and Kirk should be a couple or something.
But, I mean, like, you brought up Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is always solving a big mystery, right?
Yeah.
You know, something happens, and, you know, the big three kind of have to come together and figure out, like, well, what is the Sorcerer's Stone? Or,
yeah.
And so I kind of feel like there's room for it. Like, the Westing game was enough. Like, have you ever read that as a little kid? That's a really great one. The Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of things that I find very comforting as a human being. And I think cooking and reading and that type of stuff kind of comes down to it for me. So I think, like, I love thrillers and I love mysteries. And I think kind of having a nice, warm type of mystery. And then, you know, cooking chocolate chip cookies. You know, that's kind of like a perfect, you know, little hug.
Well, and... You know, I feel like there are a lot of directions that you could go with it. If I can pitch one real quick.
Of course.
In terms of the adventure.
Open game.
Yes,
Please
if anybody else
comments.
out there has ideas they want to throw out, we'll take a look at them too. But, you know, you mentioned the Westing game and the Mixed Up Files. And I almost look at it and go, it'd be interesting to do it as a little bit of Mad World meets it with Rat Race, and
I was thinking about that.
Having something that is like a competition, because they do competition videos where like two of them will try to set out for the same thing, and really creating sort of a story that allows you to zip off and follow this character for a bit, follow that character for a bit. Have one character running by in the background with their hair on fire, sort of thing.
And getting, like, a good personality, because I think that's what really sells a lot of Bon Appetit's videos is, you know, like, we don't want to see Claire fail on her third day of gourmet makes, but it's been such a trope at this point that you start hearing the music, and you're just like, oh, and you're kind of laughing, but you're mostly like, don't, Claire, come on, rally.
Or you have the moments of Brad not quite picking up on the word that he's looking for. And when he does that, he doesn't just, like, stop and try to figure out the word. He keeps the voice going. So he's like, yeah, we're going to go out here, we're going to and we're going to find this, you know.
And then, of course, there's, like, you know, like, Carla's, like, a mom, and, like, Molly and Andy are kind of, like, siblings. Like, they've done, like who can whip cream the fastest? Like, and I mean, I don't know. I just feel like you would want to have, like, it'd be perfectly fine if you use everybody's real personality traits and real name and everything. But I think that you want to have an opportunity for them all to shine and for them all to kind of have an opportunity. And I think to kind of, like, surround it by this, like, love of food. I know one of the things a lot of people mention when they go online, they really hate a big long story before the recipe. And so you don't necessarily want something like that. But I do think that if there was this common goal where each of their skills would come in to solve it, I think that would be really delightful and really lovely. And I think it's almost like, I don't know, like Power Rangers even. Like, everybody has their own special thing that, you know, comes together in the end to be a success or to save the day or whatever. So.
Well, and there's a thing there, too, that ties into a series that they have done, which is Making Perfect.
Yeah.
No, go away, Siri. I wasn't trying to summon up Siri. But they've done a series called Making Perfect, which is the entire team gets together. They talk about their specialties. They talk about what goes into, say, the perfect pizza, or what goes into the perfect Thanksgiving dinner.
And all of them know each other really well by this point as well. So it's like, you know, you talked about making perfect Thanksgiving. Like, one of the funniest things is, like, there's this moment where Brad just wants to put sumac in everything.
Yes.
And I feel like that would be just a really cute moment on stage where it's just like, we're not putting super. No, trust me. Okay, you know. And I mean, I think if you're a fan of the YouTube channel, like that would be something that you would be really into, is kind of seeing those types of inside jokes the same way as like when you see a book or a piece of music or, you know, something else translated on stage. You know, with movie musicals, we all kind of hope that there are those big moments. Like, I don't think Beetlejuice would be Beetlejuice if they didn't put in Deo.
Right.
Even though they kind of made all original music, they didn't follow the story very closely. They still have Deo.
And now, also thinking about the story, like when you were first starting out, you said something very Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Which sent my brain down. Oh, we're going to do a murder mystery with the Bon Appetit crew.
I mean, I don't know murder mystery, but maybe. Yeah.
And then the twist at the end is it's Bobbish from Binging with Bobbish, who's not even on their channel.
Yeah, but he comes on a lot. He's
yes,
guest starred a lot.
He does guest star a lot. So.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of the fun thing about imagining what musical theater could be, because nobody's done this before. Maybe people have on a fringe type of level. I mean, I don't want to say nobody's ever looked at a YouTube channel and has created a musical from it, because I'm sure there was like somebody at home. I did that in 2016 for Edinburgh Fringe, and they're just cursing our names to the high heavens. But
how dare you not know that I created PewDiePie the musical?
But I do think that it allows something that has been fairly suavely packaged and marketed, that's already kind of its own product, to just be reiterated into a different format. And I think that's why I'm kind of having a harder time figuring out what it is. Like, my next one that I already know that I'm going to pitch is an ASMR musical. That's the other thing I like watching. I like watching certain things on YouTube. So I like cooking shows. I like arts and crafts, so it's like I made my own historical dress. I like ASMR. I like musical theater stuff. I mean, this is kind of like a little bit different, and I didn't really like watch a whole bunch of this until I just kind of started watching it with Glenn. More so, but I mean, I kind of did, but whatever. But like the BuzzFeed Unsolved, I really like them. And since they've gone to Watcher, I really like them. And I know we've talked about puppet history in the past. Yeah. So I feel like all of my interests are like people making or doing things. That's really fun. Or it's just this kind of, I don't know, and general entertainment things I like. I also started getting into, like, it's called Doing It Ourselves, which was, like, recommended to me, like, I don't know, like, at the beginning of the quarantine. It was really weird. And it's basically, like, British people apparently go over to France because buying chateaus in France is really cheap. Like, why buy a 500,000 pound house when you can buy a whole, like, chateau and open up a bed and breakfast? Or so anyway, I watched that. And I think it's just because, like, I like to make things, I like to do things, I like to get ideas, or, you know, maybe I'm never going to build, like, I watched this one girl build a Spider-Man muscle suit because she was playing the Spider-Man video game and really, like, maybe I'm never going to do that, but to see people, like, who are ambitious and really interested in kind of creating something that wasn't there before, or just making something for the joy of making something, I really kind of enjoyed that type of stuff. And I feel kind of a kindred spirit in that, because, like, I made a headboard and I made a piece of furniture, and I tend to, like, feel like I can make almost anything, so I like stuff like that. Or I like just kind of, like, aspirational things. Like, I think Bon Appetit for me, like, yes, there's certain things that I was like, oh, well, yeah, no, I could totally make that. But I'm probably not going to make half the things that Claire makes or may make, so that's a little bit of aspirational, like, oh, to have that knowledge and to problem solve is really fun. And I think that's the thing that I glommed on to, well, really second, because I think first I was like personalities and being able to show many personalities, you know, in a short amount of time, because like I said, we could go the Cats route and be like, I'm Brad, and do a little song. But I was like, I just didn't feel like that was kind of the right way to go with it, with a non-story. Maybe other producers out there would be like, you fool! That's the exact way you should go with it. But then I really just like that it's a problem-solving thing. You want to have a fancy meal, but you only have 3 ingredients. Or you want to eat well, but you only have 20 minutes. And so I feel like a lot of what the test kitchen does is trying to solve what are going to be those next big recipes that somebody like me can stop being aspirational, but actually get there. Mm-hmm. And so if I watch the YouTube and I buy the magazine, that's something that I can kind of like almost like at home online train myself.
Yeah. Excellent. And I've got to say, I feel like that also ties in very nicely with what we're doing with taking YouTube channels and trying to come up with a pitch for them. Because that's something that's very challenging as well. Mm-hmm. Because when you take a book, when you take a movie, when you adapt it into a musical, you've got a story framework there to start with. Yeah. You know what the story of Jumping Jack Flash is. If you decide that you're going to turn Gourmet Mix into a musical, what's the story that you adapt? You've got to create a story that these characters slot into now.
Well, and what I think is so hard is, well, it's a hard and lovely problem, right? Mm-hmm. We all experience YouTube in a different way. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to start from episode 1 of the Musical QuaranStream and see us looking all bright-eyed and big smiles and so nervous and so excited. Maybe this is somebody's first episode. Maybe, like, you know, we're here into it, like, 2 months, and they see us kind of settled in and rambling a bit and having a much longer episode, but this is what they know us as. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of the story of YouTube, is not everybody starts on episode 1 and then linearly travels that path. A lot of people might start on episode 6 or start on episode 106 and then go backwards or jump around or only do things that they're in. So it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. And I think that that's a lot harder to, like you said, translate into a linear story, because you can't, well, I mean, you could, but it would be really expensive and difficult, because there certainly are theaters out there that do a choose your own adventure and own exploration and site-specific theater. But most often in a Broadway stage is you're going to have a linear story that you have to tell. Mm-hmm. So you do kind of have to make this adaptation from something that might have not been your initial introduction or experience of a YouTube channel, but you could still come away from and feel like, oh, but that captured the essence of it.
Let's see, we've got a recommendation here from Kelly. It says, check out What Have We Done?
Ooh.
An Instagram account from a couple who accidentally bought a derelict Victorian home in Scotland and them trying to renovate it.
I will love that. Like, seriously, I just did a deep dive, I think, over Easter of all the British people who have bought, like, these Italian and French houses. And they do, like, cute little things, but, like, they've done everything from, like, we have this rose garden, and the guy just made, like, a cake made out of rose water that he made from the roses in the garden, to, like, here's me standing and polishing the stairs. I don't know why it's so satisfying. I think I just have, like, a big soul or big ambitions, and I want to be that type of person, but I think I have, like, little pocketbooks and big fears.
There was a show we were watching for a while, I think, on Netflix that was the backyards, British people's backyards.
Yes. And those are fun. I like those. Like, I mean,
it was like called something like Big Dreams, a Small Space, or something like that.
And I think that's the other thing is we're moving from an apartment to a condo, and I still have immense garage and backyard, you know, lust. Like, there's just no other word for it. Like, I'm going to try to have a little garden on the balcony and set up things so that birds can stop by. But, like, we still don't have that, our space yet. Yeah. And maybe we won't have it for another 10, 20, or never years. But I feel like I'm very entranced by people who say, okay, this is my 8-foot by 10-foot plot. And somebody, like, did, like, a little hobbit burrow that was, like, a playground for their kids. And somebody did, like, a big Japanese-style tea garden. Yeah. And, I mean, like, it just is really kind of cool. Somebody did, like, a sunken trampoline so that their daughter, who does competitive trampoline, wouldn't have to fall off of a trampoline. She could just trampoline on the earth. It's just really neat. And I think that the creativity is astounding. And I think that that's also what I'd love to see in kind of a YouTube adaptation for a musical, especially something like Bon Appetit. But I will definitely check that out. That definitely sounds right up my alley.
And so let's see now. So Bon Appetit musical. I think there's some legs there. There's some room to develop a show there.
Yeah, and I think like that's where my inexperience as a producer and a bigger creator, like I can certainly sit down and write a script and kind of play it out, but I feel like knowing what, and this really sounds kind of horrible because like if you sit down and you're told what sells, usually that's not the thing that's going to sell. Like Hamilton didn't sound like a very sellable commodity, and it did really well. But I feel like maybe I'm feeling vulnerable in a time of quarantine that I need a lot of reassurance. But I'd love to just kind of sit down with a group that has brought something to the stage to just kind of know like, well, should I go a Cat's route where they're all dancing chefs, or should I go like more of a story route? And if I do a story route, you know, what stakes are high enough to make it interesting and not just a cavalcade of personalities?
Brad Leone would be McCavity if you had the Cat's route. Just saying, yeah. All right, so that's your pitch for Bon Appetit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have something a little bit more fleshed out about it, but I mean, if nothing else, like go check out the Bon Appetit channel.
Oh yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Really fun. Like I said, I really love Molly's things where she gets dropped off in the middle of nowhere and has to figure something out. I really liked It's Alive. I really liked Gourmet Makes. I do like the back-to-back cooking.
Yeah,
that's really fun. I mean, like, of course, there's good recipes in there, too, but I like a little bit more of their shows.
Yeah.
I think my first introduction was probably It's Alive for some reason. I don't know how I got onto it, but I watched that, and there's, like, 5 seasons or something like that, and so that was pretty cool. And then, of course, Gourmet Makes, I think, is just really compelling because we've all eaten junk food, and seeing how that's kind of created was fun. And then just stuff kind of kept coming up with other things that I kind of liked and that were recommended to me. So.
And see, this is a thing that I honestly, Bri can tell you that, you know, we plotted out from the beginning that when we were doing this thing, we were going to change formats a few times, and we've done that. And she can tell you that I've been talking about, like, this format, let's pitch an idea for what we want to turn into a musical, is probably my favorite out of all of the formats we've done. It's the format that I'm most like, hey, we could keep doing this after the quarantine. And part of what I love about it, honestly, is you just have an idea of the beginning of where you want to start developing. And you can have an idea. You can have a Lola run across you at high speed. You can have an idea that is fully fleshed out, and you've got maybe you've got a song ready to go from it or something like that. And it's always going to be like, you know, a glimpse into sort of the creative mind. I like that.
Well, and I will admit, last night I was making boxed mashed potatoes, and I did come out with a little song of you make mashed potatoes from your heart.
Yes.
Not by the box. and so I think that there are some things in there that would be entertaining and fun and nice, as well as really good mashed potatoes. And maybe that would be like a really fun thing is like you get a recipe in your Playbill program. Like, cook the mysterious dinner. Here's your asparagus side. I don't know. But yeah, no, I think there's something there. I think it would be really fun. I wish I had it a little bit more like, and then this would be the star, but I feel like I heard a lot about how Tina Landau created the SpongeBob musical, and I feel like I like that format for if this musical was to be developed, where you take a year, you develop how the characters walk and talk and act, and you workshop it. And I feel like a Bon Appetit musical, like any good recipe, needs to be workshopped in the test kitchen first. I don't think I'd want to start with a script and go from there. I think I'd want to cast actors who could play types and see how they all interact together and kind of create something as a team, but, you know, kind of led by a singular creator.
Yeah. It's like mashed potatoes. You got to make it from the heart.
Make it from the
heart. You can't make it from the box.
And a lot of butter.
And a lot of butter. And half if you've got it.
That's the only advice I can give you. You can make really great box mashed potatoes, but, like, don't follow the box because it'll just say hot water.
Yes.
You need butter, and you need half and half.
All right.
And Lowry seasoning salt if you have it.
All right. So let's see. Now, on Saturday coming up, I'm going to be pitching my first YouTube musical, which my first YouTube musical, the channel I picked, is called Techmoan. Now, that's Techmoan as in, you know, like technology. Moan as in...
He's not dramatic at all, is he?
And if you haven't seen Techmoan, it's a wonderful, of course, technology-based channel. It's the guy who I personally blame for getting me obsessed with Minidisc now. But it's an excellent channel. We'll talk more about it on Saturday when we talk about the show. It's going to be a lot of fun because it's a channel that doesn't have a structure that immediately says, hey, let's make a musical out of it. And then on next Wednesday, you'll be pitching your second. Yep,
which will be ASMR, which is kind of my first love on YouTube. I have certain ASMR artists I really like. And I feel like this one is almost even looser than what I pitched today. But it's only because, like, I feel like it's a revolution for technical theater. And I have a lot of kind of cool ideas of how you would bring ASMR to an audience. I know that some ASMR artists have done, like, live shows and stuff like that, but... with Broadway level funding, you know, it could possibly be kind of like the new advancement of how with opera they do have headsets or they do have eye sets with the writing across it, and I feel like there might be some wiggle room there for new tech development in the theater.
Yeah, and then next Saturday I will be pitching my second YouTube, which originally I was going to do. See, now I've completely put... Oh, I was going to put Kick Skimmers. But then I decided that, no, I knew the characters that I wanted to write a musical for. So I will be doing a pitch based on BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Which I also like. I just really like Shane and Ryan.
Yes.
We learned today, because we watched one of their watcher behind the scenes, that they're a Taurus and a Sagittarius. I'm like, yes. Yes, that's why I like them. I also like Cancers.
Yes.
And Aquarius. And Aries.
Is there any sign you don't like?
I mean, Scorpios are just no good for me. Like, they're very lovely people, but their lives stress me out.
And Jenny knows what we're talking about, though, with BuzzFeed Unsolved. She says, I love BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yes.
So it's gonna be fun.
Yes.
I'll
try to bring back my own personal spotlight.
Yes.
But I was like, you have a J.J. Abrams lens flare going on. I'm like, yes. I mean, this is probably going to be, we're going to have everything on the floor. We have to try to remember to leave a lamp here. Or our other option is probably going to be, we will try to do my phone hotspot in the new place, which would probably still be fairly similar. Although we could set up our dining room table so we're not on the floor. Yeah. Oh, life. We hope that things are going well for you out there. It seems like everything bad is kind of happening all at once to folks, at least in my immediate social circle. There are some really lovely things out there happening as well, and just seeing people support other people online and in person, and just, you know, kind of knowing a lot of really kind and great people, I think is always really great. I really feel... I'm an optimist by nature, so I really feel like we're all going to get through this together. Yeah. And we're happy to be a small part of your getting through this. And we just miss you and we love you.
Yes, we love you very much out there. And, yeah, we're all in this together. We're all going to get through this together. If you can, if you have the option, stay home. I know a lot of places are, states are rolling out, opening back up and everything, but if you have the option, continue staying home.
And if you need a mask, let me know. I'm still making masks. I'm having more fabric come in. I'm shipping out 2 things of masks. One of my old students from Ohio contacted me about the efficacy of masks, and I really believe in them. So, I mean, I wouldn't be hand sewing them if I didn't believe in them. So I'm sending him 2 for free. I'm sending a couple to your brother John. My dad wears glasses and a hearing aid, so having strappy masks are really important, since sometimes the elastic going behind ears doesn't really work so well with hearing aids and glasses. So I will make one of those for you if you need it. So, we can't do much, but we still have lots of soap. We still have lots of masks, and we'd be happy to give those to anybody out there in YouTube land or Twitch land that needs it. So please comment this if you see this on YouTube and you would like a free mask. We will keep that postal service in business.
Yes. Now, hopefully we don't go viral and wind up, with 50,000 people wanting a free mask.
I'm sewing them by hand.
Yes.
I can't find the pedal for my sewing machine. I have a sewing machine. It's right over there, 3 feet in the closet. I can't find the pedal. I sew it with these little hands. So please be aware, I want to help you, and I have fabric, but I like Baymax says, I am not fast.
But yes, if you have the option, continue to stay home.
And I might go back to work next week if that all works out. So, if you have to go back to work, please be safe about it. But
wear a mask when you go outside. I know there's a lot of debate about are they effective or are they not. Personally, I've seen a lot of the numbers, and what I say is it going to protect you 100%? No. But it gives you enough extra protection that it is worth it.
And if you're really interested, I mean, a lot of people have asked me, like, how do I make masks? We had talked about during the Musical QuaranStream that maybe we do an upload, like one of our ads that we used to do. And maybe I can show you how I make my masks, both the strappy and the elastic way. They're really simple. If you can make, like, a little bag or a pocket, you can certainly make what I'm making. I'd be happy to put up a tutorial of that. So if that's something that you're interested in, comment on our YouTube channel. Let us know.
And since we did just send out some masks, really quickly, just because like we both said, we believe masks are very useful for this. When you put a mask on, don't touch it. Don't touch the mask until you are ready to take it off and put it in a washing machine. And when you do that, handle it by the ear straps. Don't grab it from the middle.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, working in a hospital, I follow really strict PPE, and I've talked about this with Glenn, is when we are in the car and we're leaving for the day, right, and we're going to go pick up cat food or whatever, we don't really wear masks in the car going to where we're going to go. The second we step outside, just because anywhere that there's a hard surface or somebody could have coughed or sneezed in the air or whatever, we put on our mask in the car and exit. So very similar to, like, if I was going into a patient's room that had a droplet spread type of disease, I always suit up outside of the room and then I go into the room. So kind of the same way. Our car is the safe zone, put everything on, step out. Now, once we're out, can't adjust, can't itch, which is really hard because we have kitties, and sometimes their fur gets in the mouth, and it's not great. So we always have to clean it. So once you're out, you just leave it on.
There she goes.
You don't want to be, itching your nose. You don't want to be touching any of this stuff. It's going to contaminate stuff. So we leave it on almost the whole time we are just out.
And all of this is stuff you guys should be hearing in public service announcements, except apparently they've decided nobody needs any public service announcements. So
yep. So if we're seen driving around in masks, it's probably because we were out someplace that we think was possibly infected, and then we're driving home, and then we don't take it out until we get to the washer dryer, and then we remove it by the ear, kind of like yank it off like that. Toss it immediately to the washer dryer, and then they're cotton, so wash them on heat, some sort of heat. Washing and drying them, of course, is really effective. My mom, I gave her some masks. She also irons them just in case. But overall, like, I just feel that there's better than chance that shows it does protect people, especially if everybody's wearing them. Obviously, nothing is perfect, but I have some health concerns that I'm still kind of getting over. I have asthma. I have high blood pressure. And so, 2020 was supposed to be my year. There's still room. It still can be my year, right? So I need to live to see it that far. And even if I lose my job, even if I lose my income, we're still moving to a great place. We still got great, wonderful friends out there.
Yes.
And we're trying to remain optimistic that there'll be other things that kind of come up and come along, and that, moving to Virginia was the right decision. And we're going to get through this. We really, really are. It's going to be really hard for everybody, I think. Obviously, unless you're like really ungodly rich, but you're probably not watching our show if you are. But I think everybody...
And if you are, produce one of our shows.
Hey! Or at least buy Lola something. She's adorable.
Yes.
She's the best one out of all of us.
Yes.
But we just want to let you know that we're thinking about you. We love you so much.
Yes.
If there is anything that we can do, please let us know. We realize it might not be much, but I'm a really good listener. Mm-hmm. I used to do that for a living. So if you need to vent or complain, or the person in your house is driving you crazy and you need to, go cry in the bathroom and call somebody, you can call me. You can tweet at me on Twitter and say, how do I call you?
Yes.
I have a Google Voice account, so I can give you my fake number. But,
yes, you can see. There she is.
Yeah, but we hope that you can utilize us in any way that would help support your mental or physical or any type of health. We're not anybody, but we are people, and I think that we created this in efforts to help people, and we're performers, and so I can at least tell some jokes. We have, we're going to be the resurgence of vaudeville here. We'll tell you all of our best bits, and if you don't like it, well, it was free. What did you expect?
Yes. All right, so guys, I think that we
rambled about safety and health enough, but we worry about you and we love you and we want you to stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, we're going to tune out for now. We'll be back on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here where you're seeing us now. And so until the next time we see you guys, we love you. Take care of yourself, because we're not there to take care of you, okay? All right. Bye, guys.